And so my dad always told me, and people get mad, but my dad always told me, you have to be in power in your life. Don't ever be in a position where someone else is you're giving that power to someone else that you're gonna regret. Be there, whatever it is, no matter how fucked up things are, be the person making the decision. Don't give it to some people. And I think too many people are brought not to be scared, to feel like they're weak, like they can't handle it, that they need someone else to make that decision. They're afraid to. And so it's like the old school thing with my dad, the way I was brought up is like, no matter how fucking tough it is, life is gonna be hard. There's people that unbelievably bad luck, in situations. It's gonna be hard, but it's gonna be a lot harder if you don't believe in yourself. It's gonna be a lot harder, and believing in yourself, you're not like dreaming tomorrow will be a better day, but every day you gotta work and say, you know what, today was fucked up, but tomorrow I got another chance, and I got another chance, and I'm not gonna be fucking beat down, because I look out there and I don't want to be like a lot of the people when I was younger I saw. I don't want to be like that, so.
In this philosophical speech, your brother is a legend from Z Boys and Dogtown and now the stuff on skate. You are a legend on punk rock, Californian punk rock and skate and all this scene. And for us who grew on skate and punk and hardcore in Brazil, is like sitting with a guy who was on the table of the Last Supper, something like that. I like to know, it's a curiosity. I like to know the genesis of everything. Did you guys have a clue that you were creating history back in time, like when you started?
Let me add a little bit. Yeah. When did you realize that you were a legend?
If you take it seriously.
Yeah, because you are.
My dad always said a legend is like, that's the person in the park, they build a statue and the pigeon shit on it. So it's like, do you really want to be that? But I think that a lot of times, and my dad, going back to my dad would say it's not what you do.
He was an American or a Mexican guy?
He was born in America. So I was the first person born in the same country as my father, and then my kids were born in a different country. So it's one of those ones, it's kind of like a little bit of United Nations where I go around, because I got Islanders, I got all Hawaiians, my cousins are all different places. And where I grew up, literally everybody their parents came from a different country and stuff. So it was, to me, that was a normal thing. And the only time it was, and I'm not into football, but the only time it happened would be the World Cup. Everybody would put their flag out, it'd be over. The team would lose, it'd be quiet. Yeah, and then it would be back. And we never saw differences. And it's funny because even now, there's a lot of my friends that they'll be like, oh, their mom's from Bliss. And I was like, really? And they're like, couldn't you tell? And we never cared. I never cared. You know what I mean? It didn't make a difference, and it's weird to me how people are. My sons played soccer. Where they played, a lot of them, it was Oxnard, there's another in Ventura. And they're all basically from Mexico and Central America. And their coach is talking in Spanish. Now my son's team, there's 11, 12 players. 9 of them are Hispanic, half Hispanic. But you look at their dads, they're wearing, shorts, they're wearing the, surf clothes or whatever kind of thing. They're talking in Spanish and they're going, you can't lose to people like that. And you realize it's like, they're like, wait a second, what's the difference? And it's because of that cultural thing, but it isn't a cultural thing. And it's amazing how we reinforce these us against them thing. And I was sitting there and I was kind of like, I was gonna say something, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh, I'm from the fucking hood, brother. But it's amazing how we create differences. That's how the world doesn't work. And a lot of people don't want the world to work by creating differences. And then they want to create these things where you feel like you have to have a community. And a lot of these communities are just weights to hold you down, And I just, it's scary to me. But with going back to the skateboarding, there wasn't cameras back then. You didn't do things to post it or the reaction. And one of one of the things that I think with skateboarding going years later and changing, I would see someone do something when you have the film and then they look and they go, no, let's do it from a different angle. And I was like, dude, that was gnarly. But it was more the angle. Now, one of the things I do like is when someone's doing it, they're showing them like, boom, falling, 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 and finally doing it. And to me, that's one of the things I think about good punk rock and with skateboarding. My brother was a pro, wanted to be just like him, got on a skateboard, just amazing. Oh, fuck! You know, it fall down and it hurts. And I told the story many times, but I went to my brother, I go, what's the secret? And he goes, the secret is when you fall down, get your ass back up. And you realize the times when it really hurts, you go, I don't want to get out. And you go, I got to get back up. And that's literally and figuratively in life. And so my brother ended up in the Skateboard Hall of Fame. 6 or 7 years ago, Suicidal Tendencies got into the Skateboard Hall of Fame.
Yep.
I'm not a good skater.